All right, all right. Hello, everyone. Hello, we made it.
Hello.
We're only 2 minutes late tonight. Check that out.
That ain't too bad.
Yeah, par for the course, I would say.
We're hanging in there.
Yeah. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 408, your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm Rett.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Spotify or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. Tonight's episode is also brought to you by Meter and Verda. More on them later in the episode. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, tech, latest happenings in home labs, servers, gaming, basically anything that I find interesting. We do drink alcohol on the show, and if you're drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, let us know in the chat, and we'll give as we go along. All super chats are right in the air, so long as they will not permanently demonetize the channel. And if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description. As a bonus, you'll get exclusive access to my Discord server, where you can chat with myself, Rett, Tom, there it is, Tom, Cheese, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and join the awesome community that hangs out over there. You say the same names in the same order for 7 straight years. That's a hard habit to break, even if you're reading copy.
Yeah. No, it is.
Welcome to the show, everyone. How's everyone doing? Rett, how are you doing?
Jeff, I'm doing great. You know what? I'm in it. It's Wednesday night.
Good.
Over here in the great PNW.
Yeah.
And in many places around the world. But specifically here.
You know, it's funny you say that because we're +8 on the UTC, so we're among the last to experience this Wednesday night.
As it should be.
Right.
We're the land of the setting sun.
Will all my Australian viewers let me know if tomorrow is shaping up, and if I should even bother waking up? That would be fantastic. Or should I just sleep in? Got a good show for you tonight. The internet went down for a third time this year, worldwide. We've got postmortems on both of those incidents from this last week. Is the bubble finally starting to pop? There's some evidence that's pointing to that, and we really good thing to talk about with AI companies potentially spending money where they shouldn't. Got some gaming news. We've got some more to talk about, I think, on the Steam machine. But first, let's go ahead and get this party started. Rett, what are you drinking tonight, sir?
Well, just like last time I was on the show, Jeff, approximately 2 weeks ago, I was drinking local, keeping it in the fam with Silver Falls Brewing. And today, I do the same with this awesome new can art. Look how gorgeous that is. The Sunburst.
I have not seen that one.
Well, this is the Oregon Sunshine. I'm sure it's a beer that you're familiar with.
Well, I've had that one, but that is a baller new can.
Isn't that lovely? I
like that.
I saw that at the brewery tonight, and I decided to pick it up. They had some alternative can art for lots of beers. I was not in the mood for a hazy, but I mean, just something about that called to me. So we're drinking a hazy IPA tonight.
That is so good.
This is like their flagship beer, if anybody is interested in Silver Falls Brewery.
Yeah. I am drinking... I picked up a full collection of non-alcoholic beers, and I figured I would give these all a shot. Some of them I've had before, some of them I'm trying for the first time. What turned me on is actually from Deschutes. One of my favorite beers from them is not only their Black Butte Porter and whatnot, but their Fresh Squeeze series comes out every year around this time. I found a fresh squeezed non-alcoholic.
Ooh! Yum.
Right. And I'm like, that's got to be pretty terrific. So I snagged that, and then while I was in the section, I just kept grabbing packs, and I'm like, you know what? Let's make it an NA night. That sounds kind of nice. So that's what I'm gonna do tonight.
I went to a holiday party last year and only drank non-alcoholic beer all night. And I got to tell you, they're coming up.
They
And
really are.
they're really good.
I mean, 10 years ago, I could have told you by the pour whether a beer was non-alcoholic or not. This one, you would be hard-pressed to guess. Like, look at that.
Gorgeous.
That's a good-looking beer.
I totally ruined my pour.
Wow.
Look at how much head there is in there.
But I appreciate you keeping it old school with the Blazers DQ glasses.
Yeah, you like those?
I do. It makes me want to go out to the garage and get mine. I have a full set as well.
I used to be so precious about this. He left it at my house like 15 years ago. And I thought, oh man, I can't put that in the dishwasher. I got to be careful. Nah, man, this is a daily driver. This gets used and abused at our house. Look at that. You can't even tell.
No.
There's nothing missing from that.
The glazings were done so well on those glasses. Like, I have never seen one with a chip or a scratch or anything. They're amazing quality glassware.
And they're so fun. Remember, you used to get cool things from fast food places.
Yeah. They were like $2 or $3 a glass. You would buy them, and I did. I had a couple of the glasses growing up, and I think my brother-in-law still has a full set of glasses. Someone was selling a full set on eBay a couple of years ago for like $40, and I'm like, done.
Dude, perfect. I mean, you used to go to these places, and you'd almost have to fight them not to get one.
Yeah,
and then. Nowadays, dude, McDonald's came out with like a limited edition run for like the weird like Grimace birthday stuff. You remember when that was big on social media? This is like maybe, I don't know, like maybe 2 years ago. And the TikTok sensation was all about like the Grimace milkshake, which was the purple thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I do remember that. Okay.
And they were just like, the big meme was like to have the Grimace milkshake and then like pretend to be like possessed out in the parking lot or something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But they had glasses and I was like, dude, those are sick glasses. Never found one. And I was there on day one. You know what I mean? Which I guess is how you get a collector sensation, but
yeah. We'll give a couple shout outs here. Cody just poured a Captain and Coke Zero. Excellent combo. Rev is cracking into a 2021 Matryoshka bourbon and whiskey barrel-aged Russian Imperial Stout from Fort George, Astoria, Oregon. Vanilla and cocoa nibs. Scent. Matryoshka is fantastic. I think I have a bottle out in my my cellar stack. Might have to pull that up before too long. Oft Infinity says, evening all, got a pineapple guava shirt cider. In before Bobby Tables takes down the internet. Let's see. Michael's got a Kirkland Island Scotch. Excellent. Novella's Evil Twin Brewing Disco Beer. New York City version, triple IPA, 10.5%, 4.42 on Untapped. There's a heavy hitter. Good stuff. Jason's got a 2025 Kirkland Vintage Ale. I did have that this last Wednesday on the show. We cracked one of those open on the live stream. That was pretty fantastic. Strangely enough, also brewed by Deschutes. That's who Kirkland has tapped the last 2 years, is Deschutes for their barrel-aged vintage ale.
You know, I know that we don't do a lot of beer news anymore, but you know what a big one is in Oregon?
What's that? Oh, how did that not make the news?
I don't know.
We'll tell you what. We'll talk about that at the top of the hour.
Okay,
let's circle back to that one because in fact, if you find me an article and DM it to me, I'll add it to the list so we can have a visual with that. But we do have a lot of news to get to. This is going to be kind of a busy show, so I do want to dive in. Coffee gets in right under the gun with a Hoppin' Frog. I will always shout out a Hoppin' Frog. The Frog Abides Imperial White Coffee Stout, 8%. Ooh, man.
That sounds good. Fantastic.
All right. Let's talk about the day the internet went silent, which I think is the third one this year. We've had BGP issues, we've had Cloudflare, we've had Microsoft, we've had AWS. This one was Cloudflare with a side of Microsoft Azure, and two very different reasons for them. So starting off with Cloudflare, this happened yesterday morning. Cloudflare went completely unresponsive. Sorry, one sec here. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Cloudflare went completely unresponsive. And for those who don't know, Cloudflare handles the wide majority of the internet's DNS. They're one of the main DNS registrars. They also do hosting services, BGP routing, a whole bunch of other things. But DNS is kind of their bread and butter. How do you get to Google? You go through Cloudflare. When DNS stops working, internet kind of stops working. And all the background services that keep the internet working also stop working. And that's what broke. There was some speculation early in the day that this may have been a DDoS attack.
Ooh.
Why, might you ask? Well, it had a lot of the symptoms of a DDoS attack, and also, at the same time, Microsoft was also being DDoS'd. Microsoft Azure got hit with a 15 terabit per second DDoS attack on Monday this week from 500,000 unique IP addresses as part of a massive botnet. 3.64 billion packets per second flooded Microsoft servers, 15.72 terabit of total information. Basically took Microsoft Azure services to the ground. And while Microsoft was dealing with this, Cloudflare went down. And so there was a lot of speculation they were related. As it turns out, it was two very different events. So what happened with Microsoft was a botnet called the Azure botnet, is who took credit for it, or who we found the problems traced from. Earlier in the year, Cloudflare had actually discovered this same botnet with a record-breaking 22.2 terabit per second DDoS.
Wow.
Back in September. Cloudflare immediately mitigated it. In fact, the attack seconds before it was killed. But they got it back up and running, and were able to actually utilize it this time. In this case, taking Azure down for, I think, somewhere around 6 or 7 hours. So a pretty staggering attack. However, early yesterday morning, Cloudflare went down. Was it an attack? Well, no. The nice thing about Cloudflare, and one thing that I really, really like about them, is their very in-depth postmortem. So if you are at all interested in internet security, the way things work, how things break, they do significant, this is their postmortem. It is like 12 pages of timeline and when things happen and how it was discovered and what the nitty-gritty details were. They're not afraid to skimp on details, and I love that and I appreciate that. But Cloudflare has come out and stated the issue was not caused directly or indirectly by a cyber attack or malicious activity of any kind. That it was triggered by a change to one of our database system's permissions, which caused the database to output multiple entries into a feature file used by our botnet management system. In short, a configuration change started pushing out bad configuration to their bot management system, which caused the bot management system to engage and deny all traffic. Every time they tried to kill the system and bring it back up, bad configurations would be pushed again, and the cycle would repeat. And so they had to essentially roll back to a time in which they had a good working configuration, initiate that, and then rebuild from there. And as anyone who's ever done any kind of a rebuild knows, it is an exponential issue the further away you get from the point in which you have to return to. And so they'd return, they'd have to rebuild, it would error out, they'd have to return again, and eventually got it fixed. But as you can see, timeline of them discovering, mitigating it, rediscovering it, remitigating it, and then finally discovering what the root cause is sometime around 1 p.m., where the issue lasted for about an hour and a half, and slightly after 2:30 p.m., they got it back to a workable system and then fixed the rest of their issues over the rest of the day. But it's really interesting hearing them describe how they discovered it, but then also seeing the metrics that back up. Hey, look, we fixed it. Oh, crap, it's broken again. Hey, look, we fixed it. Oh, look, it's broken again. And just that cycle of up, down, up, down. So really, really interesting read if you're into this kind of stuff. And kudos to Cloudflare. Not only for it was about a 3 to 3.5 hour outage in total, upwards of about 8 hours if you were really unlucky here at the most of the issues had been resolved by 5 p.m. or by 2:30 p.m., but it took them till about 5 p.m. to completely resolve everything. But if you have an outage, it's not whether or not you're going to have an outage, it's when you have an outage. And the way you always want to judge company success is how do you deal with it? And quick mitigation of the issue and a full postmortem of what it was and plans moving forward to mitigate it from happening again is what you want to see out of a company. So kudos to Cloudflare. Terrapup sends over $5. I couldn't do this during the last month and a half. I'm assuming the super chat or just seeing the live show. So appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much for the $5 and good to see ya.
Bruh. Apparently, in the super secret chat, people are saying that your audio is cutting out occasionally. It is for me too, but I just thought it was my internet connection. But
what? That's interesting. Okay.
Nobody said it in YouTube though. It doesn't look like so.
Okay. I will keep an eye on that. I don't have any kind of. I don't think I have any filters on.
No worries.
There's a there's a very slight compressor on my voice, but there's not like a noise suppression or noise gate or anything like that. So okay, I guess let me know if it continues. I will keep an eye on it though.
We are monitoring the situation at this time.
Yes.
I guess Cloudflare's taken us down too.
That's right. That's right. A couple people in YouTube now saying, yeah, I keep hearing the Discord notification noise. I don't think that's from me, although it could be.
Probably from me. I will fix that.
And 1 sec, I've got to respond to a message real quick. There we go. So how's your Oregon sunshine, sir?
Dude, it's so tasty. Just breezing on through it, you know. I love the Oregon sunshine because it's a really good dank hazy while being very fresh tasting, you know?
Nice.
Somebody before pointed out just how thick it is. And it looks thick. It looks crunchy just with how opaque that is. But it's really not. It's pretty medium bodied, really drinkable.
Yeah,
really,
I agree with that.
As far as the hazy goes, like this is like a hot weather beer, you know? No, maybe not hot weather. Nice weather, sunny weather, hazy IPA.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Oregon Sunshine's one of my a really, really good local brew out of them. The Deschutes Fresh Squeezed. Novella wants to know how's the non-alcoholic fresh squeezed. Unfortunately, this one has kind of that NA tell. There's a little bit of just of a back taste that's not overly pleasant. Body-wise, upfront flavor-wise, really good. But it's also one of those, like, immediately you can tell that something's just a little bit off with it. And it's got this weird, sour, off-putting flavor that's kind of at odds with the hop flavor, unfortunately. Because I know fresh squeezed very, very well. Like, it's an all-time classic beer. And this one I want to say is a significant step backwards from what that is. I think it's drinkable, but it's not good. It's not great, which is unfortunate. Let's see. And Yakto says, "Hey, Rett, we missed you at PDX LAN and at the barbecue."
I know. Darn it.
Yeah, PDX LAN was this last weekend. Had a fantastic time, as always. Unfortunately, a little bit lighter on attendance this year from our crew. Normally we have one of the larger crews there, but I know you and Steve both were not able to make it. We had a couple others not able to as well. But both Skull and Rev, my mods over in the YouTube
Discord
and the Discord, they were both there. And after about 24 hours of troubleshooting, we got all three of our systems up and running, and we're finally able to play some games. All three of us ran into some pretty serious rig issues. I brought a graphics card that was probably a little bit ill-advised. I brought an RTX 6000 Pro Blackwell, just for bragging rights, just because I have one on loan right now, and I'm like, I might as well slap it. I tested it very briefly at home, just like, yeah, that fires up. Okay, cool. And I got to the LAN and it wouldn't display video. And then I rolled back the driver a couple versions, and then it would display video. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I ran a couple of benchmarks, and about 60 seconds into each of the benchmarks, it would just hard lock and completely crash. And it did this for the entire first day. Like, we set up on Thursday, like 6 or 6:30, and by 7 I'm trying to run benchmarks, and from 7 o'clock to like midnight I'm just crashing. And I finally gave up. Oh, it says audio issues again. Oh,
it's weird. You sound fine to me, but I don't know.
Okay, that was weird. Huh.
One more cutout on the Blackwell comment.
Yeah. All right, well,
that was another weird one too, right there. But
yeah, I saw that one. I actually saw that one because the audio meter or the view meter went down.
I think it's a connection thing, personally, but it seems
no,
like
because I'm seeing it, and there it kind of. Okay. Interesting.
See, because right there for me, that was a lag spike for you. That was like you were talking, and all of a sudden, so. Yeah, I was bummed I didn't get to go to PDX LAN for anybody else that's thinking about it. You know what was kind of fun was, I think it might have been Thursday. I'm just scrolling through my YouTube shorts, and I caught a wild Jeff sighting. You were on somebody's YouTube short talking about hardware at PDX LAN.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Well, you don't remember talking to somebody? He must have been a YouTuber.
Is it Danny Yee?
I don't know who that is. Let me see.
Might have been Nerd on a Budget. If so, that was like a couple of years ago.
Was it?
Yeah. I'm going to bet that's who it was, because I don't... Look, I jump on so many things, like people ask me, and I'm like, oh yeah, cool. I'll record something with you real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I did one with him like a couple of years ago.
Oh, dude, you just popped it up like literally on Thursday or something. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Jeff's at PDX LAN, you know?
That's hilarious.
It was a short. It had no likes or anything, you know? So I was just like, yeah, interesting.
Now, Rhett's a bit laggy on my end. I wonder if this is partially my Thunderbolt dock. We are stressing the crap out of my Mac Mini here. So I'm wondering if that's part of it. Although CPU 31%. So it's not like we're like seriously stressing out this chip doing all of this work on it. But might have something to do with that.
Weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Well, we'll continue to monitor. Hopefully things are okay. I may be able to.
Yes.
Unplug my Focusrite and plug it into the Frontier, but I don't really want to do that midstream.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a really bad idea.
Yeah, it sounds like a bad idea while we're actively using it. So anyway, so I had some video card issues, finally got them solved. The issue was I was on a PCI Express riser, and while the RTX 5090 was able to run at full Gen 5 speeds, that 10 to 15% more bandwidth requirement out of the 6000 Pro meant that PCI Express 5 speeds were failing. And I discovered that by clicking into hardware info, and it showed like 100,000 PCI Express connectivity errors. GPU. So got that fixed. Shout out to Vince over at Circuit Rewind for helping me track down that issue. Skull had it really bad. Skull packed a rig from his home and then flew over and checked his PC. It's a mini ITX PC. It was in his checked bag. He got it out on his, got it there and got no video out on his video card. So we spent multiple hours troubleshooting that, including putting a couple other video cards in, one of which worked. But it happened to be because that was an X8 card. What had happened was his PC took such a jolt in transit. The back of his video card wobbled in the back of the case, and it destroyed the PCI Express port on the riser cable. It actually ripped the pads from the solder joints up from the cable. The cable went from looking like this to like splaying out like this, like all the pins
oh god
on the back, like 2 inches of the card separated from the back of the riser. So we got that figured out. Most of the LAN he ran a ghetto rig by just taking all the components out, setting them on the desk and playing. And then he's got a new riser cable to put in there. And then Rev was borrowing a machine from Yocto and ended up with a bad stick of memory and something else. I think bad pressure on his CPU as well. And so we had to remount his CPU, new thermal paste, and then do a whole bunch of mem tests on it. We finally got gaming at like noon or 2 o'clock on Friday, like the day after we got there. But had a heck of a fun time.
Sounds rough.
Yeah. Yeah, once we got everything up and going, we had a heck of a fun time. And played some Borderlands 4 on Friday. Played some Crab Champions on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's fun. Nice. Yeah, I'm sad I missed it, but hopefully it'll be there in the spring.
Yeah.
And
we'll get you back out there.
Oh yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Always. You didn't place third place in the Rocket League tournament without me, so.
No, not this time. My sister asked me if I was going to join, and I went, I can join with Rett because him and I have played enough together that we know how to talk to each other, we know how to communicate, and that's a pretty natural pairing. If I join someone else, I'm just going to be a third, and that's a way more difficult one to join in on.
Yeah,
And so it's like, I think I'll skip it this time.
Yeah.
Plus, with so many issues with my PC, like.
Yeah,
I wanted to play some games and not be just about the competition. So maybe in the spring we'll join the Rocket League again.
There we go.
And we'll hit that.
Perfect.
You know what else is perfect? Today's sponsor. Today's episode of Talking Heads is brought to you by Verda. If you're an AI developer, a startup, or a business that's needing to implement your own AI workflows, you've probably hit the same wall as everyone else. Skyrocketing GPU costs, complex billing, and vague promises about data privacy from cloud providers. That's where Verda, formerly known as DataCrunch, steps in. Europe's first AI cloud hyperscaler, built for developers and IT teams who actually care about where their data lives and how it performs. With Verda, you get instant access to high-performance NVIDIA GPUs, optimized clusters for training large AI models, and serverless inference with auto-scaling, all without waiting days for provisioning. And starting this month, Verda is among the first to offer NVIDIA B300 GPUs, ready to be put in use in your most demanding workloads. But there's one big addition to all this, and that's data privacy and data sovereignty. With all of Verda's servers residing in the EU, they're protected under GDPR and some of the world's strictest data privacy laws. You get secure ingress and egress of all of your data with no hidden compliance headaches. What's more, Verda data centers run entirely on renewable energy, so your AI workloads don't just run fast, they also run green. With dynamic pricing, you can save up to 50% compared to traditional clouds, scale up when you need, scale down when you don't, and pay only for what you use. So if you're ready to move your AI, analytics, or enterprise workloads to a cloud that's fast, affordable, private, and sustainable, then you'll want to check out Verda by following the link down in the video description. Again, a huge thanks to Verda, formerly DataCrunch, for sponsoring today's episode.
Woo woo.
Woo.
Don't worry, go Verda. Yeah, okay, that's a reach. That's a reach.
Who else would reach but you?
I have to. You know, the listeners and viewers, after all these years, they've come to expect the puns, the rhymes, the word play.
Yep, yeah. Rev and Skull chiming in. Borderlands 4 was good, but Crab Champions was GOAT. Yeah, we managed a 3-loop run one time. By the way, like last month, there was an update to Crab Champions. So if you've played it before, you know there's a 4-player max. There's not a 4-player max anymore. We had 11 people in Crab Champions.
Oh, that's fun.
It was amazing. It was so chaotic. It was so good.
That's the best part about Crab Champions.
Yeah. Yeah, Rev said he hit 2 billion in damage. Yeah, Rev, you irritated the crap out of me because for the majority of that game,
out of you,
I was the one who was the real DPS monster. I had the blade splinter, but I had it where every blade that I shot 4 blades. They were like 9 or 10 times the diameter that they normally would be. And I had both bouncing and boomerang set up. So what happened was I would jump and I would shoot down at a cluster of enemies. The blades would hit the ground, spawn 4 blades, and bounce into the air. They would hit any airborne enemies, but then after a certain amount of time, they would boomerang back to that spot on the ground. When they hit the spot on the ground again, they would bounce the other direction and then boomerang back. And so wherever I'm firing, that's like a focal point of all these blades that are going to come in and out. And they would damage enemies on multiple passes through.
And you still couldn't beat Rev.
Right. And well, for the longest time, I passed everyone in kills and whatnot. And then we get to the final score page, and I'm like, what the hell is Rev doing in first place? He outscored me by 400 million. I was like, what the crap is that?
Jeff just comfortably thinks he has the lead.
It felt like a foregone conclusion.
Oh, we got Granite Gripe here in the chat, sipping on a Black Butte Porter, local legendary beer there.
Excellent. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. The AI bubble. So I forget what was it, Larry Ellison? Was it Google Alphabet CEO, former CEO, something like that? He actually made a comment referring to the AI bubble that when it all crashes, going to be left holding it up. And it's like, oh, it's nice to hear you in your position acknowledge you know fully well it's a bubble. So that was fun. But there's one big aspect that I hadn't really considered until I saw this article from Tom's Hardware that pointed it out. We talked about this a couple weeks ago even, with Microsoft buying GPUs and then saying, we don't have the power to spin up these GPUs, so we're buying the servers, and they're just kind of stored somewhere right now, and then when the power comes on, we'll turn those servers on, right? Well, let's just think of the Blackwell B200, the NVL72 servers that Microsoft is more than likely referring to. At 50,000 per chip, at 8 chips per U, and at 36 U per stack. That's a lot of chips in a single rack, right? Those chips are $50,000 a piece. What happens in 18 months to those chips, to the price of those chips?
They go down.
They go down considerably because the new stuff's out. And you don't want the old stuff anymore. You need the new stuff. If you want to be cutting edge for AI or workflow or implementation or whatever else, you need to run the latest and greatest. So those $50,000 chips, by the time they might be installed, are now $15,000 chips.
Woof.
And then they run them for another year, and now they're $8,000 chips. And then if the AI bubble bursts between now and then, are you even going to be able to sell them for $8,000?
Working as intended, man. They propped up NVIDIA now while the getting's good. And you know what? We're talking about Microsoft buying chips. No, actually, in fact, like a lot of people have already followed the money and found that like NVIDIA is paying Microsoft to take their chips.
Yep.
I mean, the relationship runs both ways, but NVIDIA is paying people to take their hardware.
There was an article that I read the other day that didn't quite make the cut for tonight, but OpenAI has paid Microsoft $12 billion for inference. So OpenAI isn't even using their own hardware. They're using Microsoft-hosted data centers and simply paying Microsoft $12 billion. Now, mind you, OpenAI only has $13 billion in revenue, and they've paid Microsoft $12 billion to run inference for OpenAI. So again, talk about cyclical money.
Yeah. And it's not just, I mean, it's, you know, I think like last time we talked about this, I cited some video that I had watched where that relationship kind of runs back and forth between NVIDIA and every single major tech company that wants to utilize and deploy AI.
Yep. But GPU depreciation. GPUs are not infrastructure. They're not an asset. They're a capital expense that is essentially a disposable or discardable item. They're a depreciating asset, and a rapidly depreciating asset at that. Like, at least if you buy a $60,000 car, you could probably sell it for $40,000 in a couple of years. You buy a $50,000 GPU, it's worth $8,000 within 2.5 to 3.
Yeah. Well, you buy a $60,000 car, and that car is going to run a lot longer than that GPU will. You know.
Yeah.
So if it's a business expense, like you can still use that car in 10 years, probably. Mm-hmm. You know, like nobody's going to call your company not cutting edge if you're rolling around in a 10-year-old car. Probably. I don't know.
So, yeah, all of these expenditures for buying up data center racks from Microsoft and OpenAI and X, formerly Twitter, and all these other AI forward companies.
Chat, are we cooked?
I think we might be cooked. It's just to what extent and how well done we're going to be when we're done. Yeah. So, I mean, when Vera Rubin comes out, it's estimated to be, what, 50% faster, 40% faster, 30% more efficient? You gonna keep running your Blackwell chips? I mean...
No. I'm going to let NVIDIA pay me to get more.
Yeah. I mean, look at the V100s that I'm doing content on right now.
Yes, look at them.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull it up real quick.
Wait, you have numbers or something?
I'll find it. I was just going to give an estimate of the price. There it is.
Oh.
Here is a cutting edge server for 2019. So 6 years old. This is an 8-way HGX V100 system. It has 8 Tesla V100 32GB cards in it, as well as a pair of Cascade Lake Intel Xeons with 256 gigs of memory. You can get it today for $6,300 for all 8 cards.
Perfect.
And CPUs and memory and everything else. And actually, right before this show, I was actually installing DeepSeek's 671 billion parameter AI model just for funsies on that box, just to see what it does.
Yeah,
because that box is capable of running one of the largest AI datasets that we have. At least that's consumer available. I'm curious to see how it goes. Yeah. I did fire up, was it GPTs? It was GPT-3, OpenAI's open source version of GPT-3, but their 70 billion parameter model. And I was playing around with that for a little bit earlier this afternoon. That was running great on 4 of those cards. I had 4 of those cards just with 10 gig selections each. And so I was only using 40 gigs of memory. So in theory, I could run that 70 billion parameter thing on 2. I could run 4 of those models on one of those servers.
Wow. Jeff, do you mean to tell me that this is a video that people can watch soon?
That is what I'm saying.
Where can they watch that at? On your channel?
On my channel.
On Craft Computing?
In fact, I also have some benchmarks and comparisons with AI workloads coming out against the 5090, the 5080, and the 4070 Super.
Oh, fun.
With those V100s, because I was curious where it falls in line. So get your guesses ready on that one. Where does a single V100 and a collection of 8 V100s fall? Talking about, high-end GPUs today.
I have my guess.
Yeah. Scott chimes in with another $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Scott. Unscheduled off-world activation. People are talking about Stargate in the chat, and I said, talk to me after the show. If I talk Stargate now, we'll never get to any other news.
Plus, this is the Star Trek show. Okay, guys?
Yeah. Come on.
And we got a member shout-out chime in from Greg Alpine. Gregelpine, he says, finally able to catch a live after almost a year. Well, Gregelpine, I raise my glass to thee. Cheers to you. Welcome aboard. 23 months. We're happy to have you. So that's the AI bubble. And the super secret chat, they are saying, we are cooked. The answer to my question, we are cooked. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Everybody's saying it. So there we go.
Surin says the AI noticed you talking bad about it and is implementing measures to remove the bad parts not wanted. That's why the audio keeps cutting out.
Yeah.
And then how did the RTX 6000 fall for a score on testing? I'm not going to give any data on the 6000 because that is actually part of a full system review, and I'll be getting to that probably in another couple of weeks. I will be adding that to some benchmarks, but I'm not going to give that card any time because it was loaned to me by a company, and that company sent a full system, and I'm not going to take that system out of context or any parts of it out of context, just to be fair to everyone. So, but we will talk about that, and we will compare that system to this later on.
Terrapup, remember for 24 months. Storage and memory prices too.
Yes, memory prices have already begun to skyrocket. Yeah, it's insane.
Well, what is tech enthusiasm for, if not for propping up these industries through their bad decision making?
And look, not all AI is bad. There's some really good things that are happening in the fields of AI when it comes to visual learning, basically scanning video for anomalies and safety and security. Look, think what you will about like invasion of privacy, but if I walk into a Walmart owns every image that they generate while I'm there, and they can do with it what they want. It's whether or not they're allowed to give that to law enforcement that I think there should be more laws around. But you're on someone else's property. There's no expectation of privacy.
That's why I solved that problem a long time ago.
Yeah, just stop shopping in stores.
I just don't go. I don't leave my house.
Yeah. But there's really cool things happening in vision learning. And look, love it or hate it, LLMs.
Yes, hate it. Go on.
Certain workflows, certain things. Like, look, LLMs will never write a single piece of copy that I read. They will never write a script for me. But at the same time, if you plug it in and you can get some feedback a little bit quicker than you could with an editor or something like that. Hey, does this make sense? Yeah, your tone is good. I've done that before. Making sure my tone is consistent on something, or even giving me an idea of how to structure a piece. I think that's fine. I think that's a perfect use case for it. Not all AI is just, the endless slop of images that are being generated in videos and then things like that.
One of the greatest things that AI has done for me personally is suddenly I have an appreciation for the human touch that I've never had before. I have not literal touch, but like, when you're thinking about artwork, right? Like, I used to have no appreciation for some type of art, and now I look at it, I'm like, damn, a human made that. That's impressive. Like,
right?
A billion synapses fired all at one time to make that person's thumb move the right way to draw the perfect picture of a butt, right? Like, look up Picasso's sketches of butts. Like, they're so stupid. I hated them 10 years ago, and now I'm like, I don't know, man. That guy had the butt down to a pretty good butt shape. So
Picasso's an ass man, is what you're saying.
He did. He seems like an ass man for sure. For all the sketches of butts he's ever done.
I do have some news that is probably exciting to no one but me. But to me, it is the most exciting thing on the list today.
I saw the press release for this. I was like, this has got to be a craft computing video.
This is my mouse. There are many like it. And these are two of mine. It's not even all of mine. It's just two of them.
In that Nerd on a Budget video, you were wearing a shirt that said Trackball user or something like that.
Yeah, Trackball person. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my favorite mouse of all time. This is the Elecom Huge Trackball. It is amazing. It is great. It is accurate. It is comfortable. It is a 9-button, fully programmable, two-axis scroll. Just absolute workhorse of a mouse. I freaking love this. I have 2 of the wired ones, and I have 1 of the multi-mode wireless. And they're great. Elecom has come out with some other mice recently that have implemented some more modern features. They have things like USB-C and a wired and wireless combo in one mouse. And it's like, that's really cool. Why has the Huge not been upgraded yet? And I've asked them about this multiple times. And then this press release came across the email, and I have to have this. This is the new Elecom Huge Plus. Same mouse, same exact layout. They didn't change it physically at all. Thank you. This is the perfect mouse. But what they did do is all of the quality of life improvements that you could ever want. It is now USB-C wired with a removable plug. Why is that important? Well, on this wired mouse, the one that's over here on the other side of my desk, I crimped the cable in a case when I was putting it back together and had to resplice the cable back together and then heat shrink it. I managed to do it, and it works, but this is also my backup mouse because if that ever fails, that's a problem. That. Now, the new one has a USB-C port on it that's a fully removable cable. You can add a longer cable if you need. You can replace the cable if you need. Thank you. You'll also notice there's a little dongle included with the mouse now. And that is because this is a multi-mode wireless. There is Bluetooth built into the mouse and RF via the USB receiver right there. That's fantastic. So you can use any of those 3 modes, like interchangeably on the same mouse. There's no longer a wired and a wireless model. This also has user replaceable stainless steel bearings for the balls to ride on, which is actually a huge deal because some people might remember I did a video where I replaced the bearings inside of mine with ceramic bearings. Right. Because I love this mouse so much. Now the bearings are user serviceable nice. Without tearing your mouse apart. It's like, holy crap, that's amazing. The ball is giant, which is why it's called the Elecom Huge. I mean, the ball is almost billiard ball sized.
It's great.
But it is the most comfortable, the most fluid, dynamic mouse that I've used. It's fantastic.
All those years sitting at the Craft Computing studio video editing rig, using that trackball changes your perspective, you know?
Yep.
It tells you what a mouse can do when it's shaped the right way, you know?
The other thing that it really helps me with is carpal tunnel, because I'm not driving a mouse by rotating my wrist.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is, the way I use my mouse is entirely just by flicking my fingers.
Yeah.
I'm not rotating my wrist at all. My wrist stays locked to the mouse. My fingers go in the right positions. They sit in those positions. They're easy to click. My fingers do all the swiping with very, very little rotation out of my wrist. And what you do is you just kind of use your couple of fingers to throw the trackball around until it lands in the right spot. And then you can fine tune that adjustment. To tell you how much I love this, I take this mouse to PDX LAN and I game on this mouse and I frag fools with this mouse.
It was a little strange watching him play a shooter for the first time with the trackball. It should be a crime, honestly. Like, I hate to say it, like, lock him up and throw away the key, but also the way it works.
Yeah.
So. Plus, I love thumb clicking, you know?
Yeah.
Talk about ergonomics.
Your left click and your forward back and your scroll are all on your thumb. Why? Because your thumb is your strongest finger. And so why not use 85 to 90% of your clicks on that. Your right click is this one right up here. It's this long button. But then there's also a second long button right there. There's also 2 programmable buttons up by the trackball itself, so you can just take your finger off and use those. I used to not use those ones very much, but I recently, like I said, and I have one of those programmed to expose now. And so on a single mouse click, as you can see Rett's screen right there, I can throw all my windows out and view every open window at the same time and find the window that I'm looking for on a mouse click without having to, like, on the Apple trackpad or the Apple mouse, it was either a squeeze on the mouse, which was never intuitive or very easy to do, or it's like a 3-finger swipe up. You could do expose going that way. Now it's a click, and it's amazing.
There you go. Elecom,
I like
huge.
my mouse.
Hopefully,
go buy
one.
Review coming soon. I already reached out to Elecom. I said, send me a mouse. And if they don't send one to me, I'm going to buy 2 anyway.
Yes.
So
I probably ought to, like, bite the bullet one of these days and buy one. Because this is the only trackball I ever liked.
Yep.
And it's a decent price. It's a great product. You guys know me. I don't spend money on anything. In fact, I'm even considering it.
Right. And this one's actually double the price of the last one. The last one was $65. This one's $130. Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were always, like, around that $100 price point.
No, they shot up.
Well, okay. Inflation.
Yeah. I'm wondering if part of the problem might be I'm drawing too much power from my Mac Mini right now, because I have so many things plugged into this.
Yeah.
Including my audio amplifier with phantom power, a Thunderbolt enclosure that, while it has its own ancillary power, is still drawing some power from the Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
I've got a third device plugged in as well. I've got an NVMe that's being powered off of this. I've got a full second screen that's being powered off of it. Let me turn the brightness down on that LCD. I have that Mac Mini enclosure over the top of my Mac Mini with the LCD. So let me turn on the brightness on that and see if that helps mitigate things. But I'm wondering if we're running out of USB power.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah. Yeah, the Elecom, down to $55 on Amazon for the OG. Huge.
Maybe I just got to get the OG then.
OG is great. I want the new one because I want that USB-C.
Yeah, of course.
Because I like custom braided cables. I like the look of that setup. That and being able to use it wirelessly when you want. That's just everything on top.
Yeah. That thumb trackball that Logitech makes. Okay, Jesse J. Daniel.
I was a thumb track user on Logitech for a long time. I've owned a couple of Logitech thumb tracks. I moved over to a finger-based track maybe around 2010. And for me, ergonomically, the finger-based trackballs were just a better fit. Like, I didn't mind the thumb ones, but I could feel my... There's the audio drop again. My wrist and and even up into my arm getting sore after a while of using those, because that's a lot of really large movement for your thumb to make, to swipe back and forth. Your thumb is... It's really strong being able to press. It's not like a gross muscle movement. Whereas with the tips of your fingers, those can use much larger movements using way fewer muscles. So I find that I don't get tired using the Elecom. Except for this weekend playing Crab Champions. That is the only time my arm or my wrist or my hand has ever gotten sore playing a game, and it was the 8-hour Crab Champions binge that we went on. Also, so I'm doing the thumb and the track. For the first match, I was on double shotguns, which is left and right click to fire your independent guns. And so I was mousing with my pointer and my middle, and then right click and thumb click. So I was constantly like squeezing and aiming and doing all this precise stuff. It was not the best setup for that game, for that layout.
Well, what's the next story we got here?
The next story is our second sponsor for the day, and that is Meter. Today's episode of Talking Heads is brought to you by Meter, the company that's building better networks. Managing networks can be a pain, and anyone who's ever built out a business network can tell you that you've got different vendors for every piece of hardware in your deployment, from switching, routers, firewalls, Wi-Fi points. Plus, you get to juggle local ISPs, installers, and somehow when everything breaks, it's all still somehow your problem. Meter aims to change that, delivering a complete network stack, including high-speed wired and wireless networking, power delivery, firewall and routing, and even cellular, all in one integrated solution that's built for performance and scalability. You pay a predictable monthly cost, Meter supplies you with the hardware you need, and will keep everything up and running. Meter handles everything: the hardware, design, installation, monitoring, and even dealing with your ISPs to get you the best rates on internet connectivity. You get enterprise-grade switches, Wi-Fi 7 access points, and fully managed security appliances, all tied into a single cloud-based dashboard that gives you visibility into your entire network stack. Best of all, there's no upfront capital expenses. When you sign up with Meter, they supply all the hardware your business needs and will automatically upgrade your hardware as time goes on, ensuring your users and your business always have the tools and connectivity they need. Whether you're starting up a new business, adding new offices, or simply need to upgrade your existing network, go to meter.com/craftcomputing to book a demo today. Again, that's meter.com/craftcomputing. And again, thanks to Meter for sponsoring today's episode.
Yep.
Thank you, Meter. I was waiting for you to come up with like a measuring stick pun.
Oh, that would have been really good. I'm really stuck on the idea of like, if you can't beat it, meet it with Meter or something, like, I don't know. Yeah.
Why use a yardstick when you could meter?
Okay, Jeff. Go ahead and leave the puns to me.
Math jokes.
Though, I think that if you want to keep your workplace cool, right? You oh God, Jeff, what are you doing? No, in the middle of my segue,
beer literally explode on me.
Well,
it has been sitting on my desk for over an hour.
Well,
what the heck was that?
It's karma. It's fate. You wronged somebody.
All right. Well, give me a minute. Rett, okay. The show is yours.
Thank you, Jeff. Been waiting for this moment for 7 years. All right, everybody. You're in my kind and gentle hands. We already talked about Picasso's butt sketches. I was going to try to segue into the next story, but I think I'll wait for Jeff to come back. I guess we should talk about Morrowind. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, if I was really thinking, I would have brought my Morrowind book down. See, I bought a hand-bound leather copy of the 36 Lessons of Vivek from this bookbinder called Cattle Abduction Bookbinding. They have a Ko-Fi shop. Anyway, they have the most gorgeous hand-bound copies of in-game books from the Elder Scrolls. So I picked up the 36 Lessons because it's one of my favorites. And what's interesting is looks gorgeous. It's got a gorgeous typeface inside of it. Leather binding is really nice outside. Half of the book is, in the Elder Scrolls script, whatever that might be. And then the other half is in plain old regular English. Probably British English. If I had to take a look, there's probably some errant use in words like color, you know, things like that. Jeff's still getting cleaned up, so I guess I could keep going about this. It's also somebody screaming or crying somewhere in my house. Probably because they have access to my beautifully hand-bound book, and I don't. So they're screaming in victory. While I scream in despair, you know? So
Might as well start an ant farm.
welcome back.
We lost between 2 and 3 ounces of that beer out of the top.
That's a crime.
Yeah.
That's a crime. Straight to jail, Jeff. Do not pass go.
That was not my fault.
Jeff on his knees with a drinking straw, rescuing his beer from the rug.
Yeah, I want it on the record that was not my fault. Look at that. I poured the beer, and I still got that much head. And I poured that very slow. So I was going to say good things about this one. This one is another non-alcoholic, this time from Crux Fermentation, part of their Nomo beer series. This is the Galaxy Gazer IPA, a non-alcoholic beer made with Galaxy hops.
Ooh, yum.
Yeah. Tropical and fruity flavors, slightly piney notes, and a mild bitterness. Galaxy Gazer IPA is the star-filled nighttime adventure. Well, we'll see about that. I'm glad I opened the beer after the sponsor read.
Yeah. True.
Zeus sends over $1.99. Thank you, Zeus. It was a bad pun. It was the bad meter pun.
Yeah, it angered the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to warn you. Leave him to me. You know what I'm saying?
This is true.
That's right. It gave me time to brag about my super sweet hand-bound book that I got. Copy of the 36 Lessons of Vivek. Straight from the annals of Morrowind lore. So but you know who couldn't heat their house if they used meter? Is this guy in our next story. Well, maybe he could. I don't know.
Well, yeah. This one I had to put in the notes because I have many a friend and many a supporter and so many people in my community who have their own small, humble home labs. We were at one last week with Yoctos with his paltry 6 racks and 400 amp 240 service. That's... only 5 gig symmetric. Like, come on, man. What are you even doing? That's all good and well, but a man in Essex has gone above and beyond. Data center in this man's shed reduces his energy bills to just 40 pounds.
Wow.
So what he's doing, he's running a small, humble home lab containing
500 computers.
500 edge machines. And he is basically heat transferring all of that, capturing it by oil, and then transferring it into their hot water system, and basically using radiated heat through water cooling to both cool his data center and warm his house. And through all of that, he's basically breaking even on energy costs.
Nice.
So
I mean, look at that picture. That is a man who knows.
Right. Who knows he needed to find out a way to break even on energy costs if he was going to stay married.
Uh, yeah. I mean,
So,
also that picture of that guy with that mustache looks so AI generated. Like,
oh my gosh, you're right.
it's just like, here's a man, and don't look at the back.
Yeah,
There's nothing to see back here. We spent all of our compute power on the man.
yeah. Um. Anyway, this is an example of one of the heat exchangers that's used in this system. And if we scroll down a little bit, you can actually see
Oh, there you go.
the rear mount heat exchanger that he's got in here. So the data center throws all of its heat into this exchanger. That converts it into, I believe he's using oil for his exchange system, and then piping that oil into his house and heating his house with it. Um, and as you can see, he's got 28C going into the system and 14C coming out of it.
Wow.
So that's what, 85 degrees Fahrenheit, and what's 14 and a half, 60?
Times two is about 29
Yeah, it's about
plus
60.
30. So, yeah, 59.
Yeah, hair under.
Do the math, Jeff. Come on. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, this is one of the things that always excites me because, like, where I'm from, I think, like, some of the first things that, people learn about computers is, like, heat displacement. And I remember, being in high school, and, like, one of the things that our teachers were always super excited to show off was building, like, a submerged computer, for example. Building a computer in a fish tank,
Mm-hmm.
or fill the fish tank with different fluids and see what displaces heat faster and how fast can you overclock it, and so, like, you'd fill one with water, you'd fill one with, like, mineral oil, and another with, like, I don't know, vegetable oil or something, and you would see the performance that you can eke out of these systems with these things. And so you learn, like, really quick, it's like, oh, like, you can take this heat and put it in different places and do different things. And of course, like, that was one of the things that made LTT kind of interesting to watch during the Linus's, like, home building thing, was his interest in piping heat around his house, around his pool,
Around his
right?
pool, yeah.
Yeah. um And so, yeah, it's kind of an interesting concept. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that you could drop your energy bill so much by utilizing that. But, I do that at a small degree in my office, right? It's like my office is in the basement. My office doesn't have any heat, but I'm toasty and nice and warm in here every day because of the PC that I'm running.
Yep.
And I think to myself a lot of times, like, oh, should I shut my PC off? No, I'm going to be back in here at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to leave it on so it's nice and warm in here.
Yep.
It's not the same thing, but it is the same thing. But instead of using oil to heat water around my house, I'm using the air. We do have another super chat.
We do.
Friend of the pod, Circuit Rewind. Error 409, conflict. Wasn't 408 last week when I was literally on it. Also, I'm not really here, out drinking fancy drinks at, quote unquote, the doctor's office in Seattle tonight. I said quote unquote. He actually just capitalized it like it's the name of a bar or something.
Yes. Yes. 408 was last week. I just double checked. So I think I said 408 at the top of the episode, and I labeled this one 408. It's now labeled 409. It is correct now. Wouldn't be the first time I've done that. Probably won't be the last, but hey, we're up and going now.
We're hanging in there. Vince, thanks for the super chat, bud. 20 whole American smackers. Gonna put them to good use. Powering our heating bill. So there you go. Thanks, man in Essex, who looks way too happy about this. You know, one thing. See, this is interesting. So I was looking at this in the story. I didn't read the story before we started. But it's not like that this guy invented this idea, or
Right.
did he? Regardless, this is a product developed by a company called Thermify.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say this?
No, I did not say this.
This is an interesting thing. So this is like a service that
Right.
this company does where they go, hey, we got this stuff. You can run our hardware in your house and we'll set it up to where we get the compute, but you get the heat. Right? That's what they're saying, I think. That's a little bit more interesting than I was giving it credit for. I didn't, full disclosure, I didn't read this story before we started. I just looked at that man's glorious smile and moved on with my life. But yeah, you can, the heat hub was developed by Thermify. And let's see, what else did they say about it? I clicked the wrong Control F direction. There we go. Anyway, yeah, apparently you get the products, you power it and run it, and get to use the heat. Well done. Yeah. Interesting business model. See, they don't even talk about Linus doing this. They say, see, Thermify is not alone trying to capture and use heat generated by data centers. No, a swimming pool in Devon is being warmed by a washing machine-sized, quote, digital boiler. Come on.
Yeah, I've considered if my data center use ever gets crazy, doing some kind of heat exchanger or whatever else. I've had multiple ideas on similar systems, either reusing heat or, in my case, reusing water that's available to me. Some people know there's an underground in my house, and I could technically capture some of that water, run it through a heat exchanger, put it in line with my HVAC system, and cool my house in the summer with 52-degree water, and help accentuate or assist the heat pump that's doing the cooling. But with my server rack, people go, oh, you should just capture the heat out of your server rack. I don't like running my server rack at 2 kilowatt. Like, I've been close to it before. That's 2,000 watts of heat, but that's also 2,000 watts of draw. And I don't like drawing that much power out of my server rack. Right now, my server rack's drawing about 700 watts, and actually I'm trying to cut that in half. I have successfully cut my server utilization all the way down to about 400 watts before, and I'm aiming to do that again here in the near future. Both with the little microcloud server that I'm putting in. I'm also rejiggering a couple of my other boxes and consolidating some stuff down. But 600 watts doesn't really move the needle when it comes to adding energy to. Sorry, that mic is getting really annoying to me.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, it's getting worse. Let me try. Hold on.
It's weird. Like, everything is acting weird too. Even YouTube's acting weird. So
yeah. Give me about 10 seconds here. I want to try something.
Back. Morrowind talk. I don't know what else to say. Kind of already told you about the cool book, so I guess go play it, It's a cool game. Pretty sexy. It's got a lot of RNG. Means random number generation. It's like the digital equivalent of dice rolls, so it's kind of hot. So there is a cool game for sale right now on Steam. If anybody's interested, $3. It's called Ape Out. That was a pretty fun one. Picked that one up. Got a pretty groovy drum forward jazz soundtrack. It's pretty hot. What else I've been playing? Oh, Final Fantasy Tactics, guys. You guys know that one. They got the penny. I just beat WeGraph last night finally. Because I'm not very good at the game. It was really hard. Took me a lot of tries. But I did it with Monk Ramza with dual wield from the ninja. Punched him to death. And then punched all of his friends to death with my other monks.
All right.
So, cheese it a little bit, but what are you going to do? Got to do what you got to do.
Okay. So I forgot this Mac Mini dock that I have does have an ancillary 5-volt power input that'll take 5-volt 3 amp. So I had a USB-C power brick under my desk, so I went ahead and plugged that in. So now the dock is being powered externally from the Mac Mini, but still has a data connection over USB-C to the Mac Mini itself. The dock has the NVMe drive, plus the display screen, plus a couple of USB ports, card reader, etc., etc. So now I have a powered hub, essentially. I also took the Focusrite mixer and I unplugged it from the USB-C port that's on the Mac Mini, and I plugged it into the powered hub on the dock. And so hopefully if it was a power issue, it'll stop. And so far, I haven't seen it happen yet. So hopefully that's the fix. Oh, well, wait a second, I already have a powered hub. Let's try that.
Unfortunately, you've ruined my whole bit about playing Final Fantasy Tactics, so I don't know if you ruined it. But Rev said, you did a whole bunch of stuff to Rett now. I don't know what that means. I wasn't watching, so...
What did I do to Rett?
It seems like everything's working better, so...
Yakto says 2 kilowatt. You run that much on the server in my garage. Yeah, I know. So the V100 server that I've been demoing, a lot of you already know, it is at Yakto's place in his humble home lab, and I remote into it to do all my testing. I had it peaking 2,500 watts yesterday or Monday, I think it was. So cool. A lot of people are saying success. Does sound better. No glitches so far. Excellent. Okay. It felt like a power issue. And so I think we're on the right path, at least. I knew I'd be pushing this Mac Mini to its absolute breaking point. Because again, like, Tom and I said last week, this is the baseline Mac Mini, base level, $599. No extras, no extra RAM, no anything else. And I'm asking everything of it. So hopefully it's going to treat me well. See, CPU is spiking at 80% in some spots. That's weird.
Yeah, I look laggier than ever on the Zoom call, but...
Yeah. Zoom is only needing about 6%. Google Chrome is taking 55%. Why the heck is Chrome?
I don't know. My Chrome is acting like pretty crazy too.
Being so darn hungry tonight. And then Chrome just crashed as I looked at it.
Of course.
I went like this, and Chrome goes, "Ah, snap." I didn't touch anything. That's amazing, though. But hey, suddenly my CPU's back down to 37%. So I think YouTube might have been having some problems there.
It seemed like YouTube was being rough earlier because like people were trying to like the super chats and the numbers were all glitching. Like things were constantly glitching on my screen.
Yeah.
Dude, there's somebody in chat is saying miss drinking brews with you, John and Chuck at Cap Tap. Hope you're doing good.
Yeah. We miss them too.
Miss the old Cap Tap days.
Yep. All right. Yeah, Google has retina tracking. It wouldn't surprise me. They track my mouse movements, for God's sakes. All right. The beer that tried to explode on me and successfully exploded on me, the Crux Nomo Galaxy Gazer. 3 out of 10.
Awful, huh?
Do not like.
Give it to me, bro. Thank you.
Yeah. There's no... Look, if you're going to call yourself a non-alcoholic IPA with Galaxy hops, I'd better freaking taste Galaxy hops. No.
Don't tell me. They went with Citra. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't taste hops at all. Yeah, the issue is this tastes like those old emission non-alcoholic beers. Like the reason non-alcoholic beers have a bad name. It tastes like that. It's not good.
Well, they haven't figured it out yet.
Yep.
They will.
Hopefully they'll get there. Crux is solid. I'm sure Crux will get there eventually. But yeah, it's a little bit different. So I'm gonna call a mulligan on this one, and set that aside because I can. And speaking of the Black Butte Porter, there's a non-alcoholic version of that one now.
There you do. That was my buddy Caleb drinking that Black Butte Porter in chat.
Oh, nice.
If he's still sticking around, look what you did, bro.
Yeah.
You influenced the big dog.
So I have had this one before, and this one, I think you could line up the NA with the 5% porter. I think you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference. Plus, I'm pouring it into a glass that Skull really wants, so Skull can be jealous while I'm enjoying this one. Michael says he wants to try the Guinness NA. I've heard it's pretty decent. I haven't had that one myself. I haven't seen it in stores yet, but yeah. All right. A little Grand Theft Auto 6 news as we transition into gaming a little bit.
We're still talking about them?
You know, I really don't want to. I'm like, look, GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, two of the best-selling games ever made, two of the flat-out best games ever made when it comes to gameplay, design, graphics, pushing technology forward. Fantastic works of art. Nothing but respect for the job that was done there. However, Rockstar doesn't have the best reputation in the industry for treating employees fairly or you know, any of that kind of thing. They're very much the old school developer of, hey, everyone works 100 hours. You're just going to have to get used to it. Everyone pays their dues. Oh, and then when it's time for bonuses to roll around, we'll just fire you a week before. So you don't get your bonus. You don't get this. You know, we don't want to pay benefits. And technically you're a private contractor. So we, you know, all of the tricks in the trade that game developers like to use because, hey, you're working a dream job, right? You get to make games for a living.
It's the dream.
But when that whip cracks, it doesn't feel so much like a dream job, does it? So, like, all the respect in the world when it comes to the creative vision of Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption and the games that Rockstar has made, but also maybe get with the times and take some of that, $20 billion you made, pay your damn employees. Just, come on. Anyway, GTA was in the news a couple of weeks ago because they announced that GTA 6 had gone through another delay and would now be 6 months further out, now no longer launching until November of 2026, when it was originally supposed to be out, I believe, in March of 26, and then later July of 26. And now it's been pushed all the way back to November. They must have run into some more development challenges or headaches or their vision got too big and they needed to expand. Nope, it's because they fired 80 people on their dev team. Why, you might ask? Well, if you ask Rockstar, it's because they were leaking details about GTA 6 to the press. If you ask the employees, it's because they were trying to unionize. The union leader for the developers at Rockstar have now come out and stated, we were not leaking anything to the press. That is abhorrent and inflammatory. They were talking about working conditions on their private Discord.
Surprise. People are allowed to talk about working conditions usually.
Weird. Yeah. Turns out if two people are under the same NDA, you can discuss the NDA. Or at least the materials that you're both collaboratively working on. That's how it works. And, to pull a line out of Rockstar, they were just working off hours for the betterment of the game, because isn't that what you wanted? Yeah. This is dirty. This is nasty. This is horrible, horrible way to treat your employees.
I love that the two top comments on that story, because some old-fashioned online story mills got comments still.
Yeah.
Aha, GTA 6 will be the largest, most expensive game ever created. It'll break sales records. You think they give a rat's ass that a fraction of a percent of their target audience says they won't buy it? You will. The next one says, Rockstar can consider closing up shop in that country. As a business owner in a modern market, I reward loyal employees, not parasites. Yeah, you guys sound like bootlickers. You guys suck. Mike Lamaro, you suck. Peyton 34 fan, you suck.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I will say the first comment has a bit of a point. Is this going to impact sales? Probably not substantially.
No, of course it will.
It should, but it won't.
But it goes on to say, if you think these people are going to get hired back because you whined, think again. They signed an NDA. If they said anything, then they have nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Good point. Maybe you shouldn't immediately side with the multi-billion-dollar game development company, but what do I know?
Yeah.
If there's one thing I know, it's that billionaires definitely aren't all in a cabal, dealing with weird, sex trafficking things. They're all the cream of the crop human beings that we have to offer, Jeff.
Yep. I don't know that I'm going to be benchmarking GTA 6. I don't know that I want to feature it on the channel because of this.
Yeah, good.
And I think I'm going to state that as such. Hey, I'd benchmark GTA 6, but they treat their employees like crap. So maybe that'll just be part of my review videos from now on. Anytime a new GPU comes out, is I'll review everyone else's games.
I mean, this is the only thing I keep coming back to, is that people could always say that not playing ball or not participating in the market or whatever, it doesn't hurt these companies in any way. But you know what it does do? It lets me sleep at night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I stopped streaming on Spotify, and I I buy my music and I manage my own media that way, and suddenly I feel good about listening to what I listen to because I know that I put $10 directly into the artist's pocket. You know how many streams I'd have to give them on Spotify for them to get $10 out of me?
Yeah.
I can listen to Spotify as much as I possibly could. Am I even generating $10 in revenue for any artist? Like combined? I don't know,
Probably any single artist? No.
right.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same thing with I dropped Amazon Prime. I drop whatever streaming services I can muster. Yeah, okay. It doesn't. They're not going to go out of business, but you know what? I have some self-respect. And if you want to let all these companies spit in your open mouth, then be my guest. But me personally, whatever. I've always liked the Grand Theft Auto games, but there's lots of other games that are fun. So
Right. Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not going to play Grand Theft Auto 6, but when was the last time I ever bought a game brand new, hot off the presses?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I played Grand Theft Auto 5, but it was like 3 years after launch. I don't know. So there you go.
Yep. I mean, as a reviewer, I buy a copy of most of the games the second they come out.
Yeah.
Simply so it can be part of my, updated game list.
Sure. Well, because people want to see how does it run the games I play.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I don't
Yep.
think like that guy said. I don't think two guys not buying the game or whatever isn't gonna matter. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Just don't suck. Speaking of not sucking, unfortunately, every day we wake up to new tariff regulations, a new whatever, and it doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason. We're beholden to the whims of one single madman who uh, makes his decrees on a social media platform that only journalists and crackpots are a part of. That's right. I'm talking about Truth Social. If you want to know the latest about tariffs, go on to Truth Social. You can be as up to date as, I don't know, the tariff analyst on retainer for CNN, I guess.
Yeah.
But today, well, not today, several days ago, one PC hobbyist, Jeff, was in for a rude awakening. He must
Yep.
not have been paying attention to the news, or else he might have known that the low value import exemptions were gone.
Yep.
I mean, if you've been following the news the last
Or
9 months,
or simply was used to using a particular marketplace,
yeah,
whether
yeah,
it's
exactly.
AliExpress or whatever else, and
No, I think this is entirely user error. I keep up with this. I'm just kidding.
yeah, because I mean, I bought thousands upon thousands of dollars of things from Ali and Alibaba and all those other sites, and never had to pay import ever, even on even on my $3,000 laser cutters, never had to pay import. And yeah, according to this article, one PC hobbyist was charged $684 in tariffs on $355 worth of parts. Because the low value import exemptions, the de minimis exemption, is now gone. So,
Welcome to the future.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Did he say what he actually
What he bought?
Purchased. I don't know.
No, doesn't look like he did.
Yeah. I can tell you, I'm a little pissed off right now because,
yeah, this probably impacts you, right? Does it impact OpenViro? Oh, geez.
I knew the tariffs were incoming when we started our campaign for pre-order, and so I went, well, as bad as it gets, we'll just create a price that we're happy with. I'll flat out tell you, we were targeting $99 for a price point for the brain and one sensor. We ended up having to move that to $150 because of the cost of materials if tariffs hit. And I'm really glad we did that because we sold 670 boards and 1,100 or 1,200 sensor units, additional, or 1,200 total sensors. So 700 with the original set and then 450 on top of that. Ordering those parts fully assembled, so PCBs cut, all of our components fully assembled on the PCB, and then boxed and shipped. The quote was $24,000. I'll just tell you straight up what the number was. Delivered to my door from my PCB manufacturer was going to be $24,000. What is the total price that I paid? $38,000. I paid almost $14,000, and I haven't even finished ordering the cases yet. The aluminum extruded cases, which is going to be another $2,500, but then probably another $1,500 in tariffs at least. So I paid almost 2/3, close to 60% when it's all said and done in tariffs.
Now here's the real question, Jeff, because the brain dead people who want to soundbite this and say you don't understand how tariffs work, they're going to say, well, why didn't you move production to North America then? Why didn't you find a partner? Exactly. And that's my point. That's why I brought it up, is like, it's the dumbest shit ever that they spin around back on you. It's like, you want to increase, domestic manufacturing and all of this type of stuff. You can't just slap this shit down immediately. Yep. And again, it's all at the whims of what one insane person wakes up after his most recent Coke binge and late night gold toilet shitting spree, decides to tweet on his dumb social media thing.
Yep.
And
yeah. Yeah, we shopped for a domestic manufacturer. In fact, that's what I wanted to do initially.
Yeah.
Is I wanted to manufacture in the States. There's not a single manufacturer that I could find that manufactures PCBs stateside. All PCBs are sent out. Every single PCB. We don't make PCBs here. We will cut final products for you. So if you create a PCB and then ship it in, you can trim that to final spec. And then do the component assembly here. However, the components that I'm using aren't made in the US, so I'd be paying import tariffs on the RP2040 microcontroller, on every resistor, on every capacitor, on every port and passive and active component. Anyway, and then paying someone, I think the quote that I got was nearly 8-fold the price that it was to have them manufactured in China. Because we also don't do very much PCB assembly here. There are factories here that will do PCB assembly, but they're exorbitantly expensive to do so.
See, and then some like big brain person is, well, what do you mean we don't do PCBs here, man? Like the WAS started Apple in a garage hand soldering all of their parts, man. You gonna tell me you gotta go to China to get what you need, man?
Yes.
It doesn't even make any sense, man. The WAS did it, man. Bill Gates. I know business.
because it's amazing when your resistors are this big that you can hand solder them pretty easily, and your traces are 1/4 inches wide. The God. The Raspberry Pi RP2040, which is the heart of our system, is, I believe, a 45 nanometer part. It is a BGA. No, it's not even BGA. It's edge mount. But still, it's a component that's smaller than your pinky nail. That has, what is that, 78 pins, something like that, around the outside of it. Plus a central ground that holds it to the board that requires a hot plate and whatnot to do. Yeah, I could totally solder that by hand. Times 700.
I'm glad you think so, Jeff. This is what making America great again looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. We're finally gonna put all your kids to work.
Yeah.
little shop out in the garage. Okay, kids, here's your soldering irons. Yeah, man. What a mess.
As someone who has hand soldered 0402 resistors, piss off. Like, I'm not terrible at soldering. But no, that was never going to happen.
Well,
so, yeah.
I'm sorry for the headaches it's caused you, and sorry to this unnamed PC hobbyist.
Yeah.
Sorry to anybody else who is going to be hit by the low value import exemption.
Yeah, and Paul says you'd pay more in tariffs on the equipment you'd need to manufacture all the boards yourself than you would paying for them to be manufactured elsewhere. Exactly. Yeah, we took tariffs into account when we were shopping for manufacturing. And doing it remotely is still cheaper than doing it domestically. The problem is, it's now 60% more expensive to do it remotely. That's all that changed.
That's where Paul's going wrong. Of course you're paying tariffs on bringing equipment in. You need to manufacture. You need to manufacture the equipment that you need to manufacture the boards here. Hello? It's so obvious. Why is nobody thinking about it this way?
Yeah.
You can't be telling me that the world economy is more complicated than that, right?
Yep.
You're not telling me that the world economy can't be managed from a Truth Social account, are you, Jeff?
He's a businessman, Rett.
There's not even
understand.
There's not even character limits on Truth Social, as far as I can tell. And you're going to tell me that you can't run the economy from Truth Social?
Yeah. Yeah. At this point, I'm not going to lose money, but my final profit margin is something like 9%. So,
well, maybe you survive and you make
but if anything goes wrong, I'm losing money on this. Like,
yeah, 9% is not fun.
You can't survive on that. Yeah.
Hopefully you survive and make it to the next iteration of this. And
we've got some plans. We've got some fun things cooking. So,
just like this other thing that Valve has cooking. Of course, you all heard the breaking news last week.
Yes.
When Tom Lawrence was on the show. The Steam Machine, which is just an awful name in my opinion, but whatever. Apparently, it's going to offer equal or better performance in 70% of the gaming PC rigs out there.
Yes.
Which I'm all for.
Will. It probably will.
I've seen what the Steam Deck does. I'm a convert. If you're telling me that you can have this big cube and I could set this on my nightstand next to my TV and play games,
right?
I'm all for it. I do that with my Steam Deck seamlessly. I plug my Steam Deck into a dock, has HDMI. I use a controller. I play on my TV. Does it look amazing? No, not all the time because, resolution limitations on the Steam Deck. But
yeah,
supposedly we're going to have some pretty big hardware improvements.
Yes, a 6-core Zen 4 processor and a semi-custom RDNA 3 graphics processor, similar in scope to the RX 7600 XT, which is a pretty decent graphics card. A lot of people are poo-pooing some of the specs, going, well, if it's anywhere near... And they're also poo-pooing the price. And
what's the price? Has that been announced?
We don't know the price. That's part of the problem.
Okay.
Valve is trying to slant us to, or prepping us to say it's going to be closer to a PC than it is to a console. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, if you have a device like, hold on, huzzah, like the Steam Deck, people are going to be buying the Steam Deck to do what? Play games that they buy from Steam, right?
Sure.
You could probably sell this at a loss, no problem.
Yeah,
and recoup your money. They're coming to your marketplace to spend money. You could probably sell this at cost and still have it be a net positive on the investment. On a general purpose PC, that's a little bit more dicey because now it's just hardware. And while the design of this lends it to be a living room gaming PC, a console-like PC, it's just a PC. Which means...
If you had to throw out a guess for price, what are you thinking it'll launch at?
I think it's going to be somewhere around $800.
Is that so bad, though?
That's not. It's not. It's not bad.
That's pretty good.
I've been seeing some Reddit threads today that kind of, they puzzle me because what are you getting for $800 in a gaming PC today?
This is the problem. I think with like going to the PC Master Race subreddit to piece it out.
Let's choose a build. Let's go with a 4-core or with a 6-core Zen 4. So hey, look, there's a 7600 desktop. Let's go ahead and add that. Let's get a cooler. We don't need much of a cooler, so let's go with what do you say, a 212 Black Edition, $25, or actually the 7600X. Does that come with a cooler? No, that's CPU only. So yeah, let's pick literally one of the cheapest coolers. 212 Black, $25, cool. Let's grab a board.
I only want scented thermal paste though, so
here's an ASRock B650i Lightning, AM5, $159, cool. Let's do 16 gigabytes of memory. Where's a good 16 gig kit? There we go. Kingston Beast Fury. Oh, look, yeah, memory prices have shot up. 16 gigabytes is now $143. Holy crap. So let's do that. Storage, what does this come with? Is it a terabyte? I think it's a terabyte.
Is it? Yeah. All right, go for it. I mean, doesn't it have like an SD card slot right on the front of it?
Also has an SD card slot, but yeah. So let's add a 1 terabyte drive there. Video card. We're looking for a 7600 XT. Of course, it's not going to let me search, so I've got to find it myself. 7600 XT. There we go. Those are quite expensive. $449 and $549. Let's just add a 4060. See if we can find one at like $300 because I think that's a little bit more in line. Yeah, there's a 4060. Okay, so let's do that. Let's say $300 for the graphics card. It's close enough spec-wise. Choose a case. Doesn't really matter. Let's say $50 for a case. Power supply. Probably only needs something about 550, maybe 600 watts. There's an MSI, $60. Yeah, cool. Operating system, no. Pass. $1,000.
Oh,
There's your Steam box. If this comes in at $800, hell, if this comes in at $1,000.
$800 kind of felt right to me, because that was my thought, was like, when they're saying it's going to cost more than a console. I mean, the most expensive consoles are like $500.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 600 if you're getting the branded one.
Now the PS5 Pro is like $650, $750.
It's like $550 or $600, right? Like
$749.
where the hell?
PS5 Pro, $749.
Okay, fine, whatever you want.
$749.
Oh, on Amazon. Oh, okay.
You can get the PS5 Slim for $599. That's
see,
not the Pro
the
version.
the digital edition. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, no, the PS5 Pro is $749.
So,
but still, like, based on the specs that we know,
but you know what, the whole difference. I mean, what are you getting hardware wise with the PS5 Pro? I know you're getting an optical drive.
You're getting like roughly a 6700 XT or roughly 7600 XT level performance. Novella says, will this new Steam machine have a discrete graphics card? It is a discrete card. It is not a custom APU. It is a 6-core Zen 4 CPU and a semi-custom discrete GPU. So it's a 7600 kinda. What that means, I don't know. But it will be an 8GB 7600 variant. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. $1,000 probably not as quite as doable. But if you're thinking that the PS5 Pro is $750, I mean, 800 feels doable. 850 feels doable.
I think even 1,000 is doable. I think
doable.
People are.
I just don't like that price.
When's the last time you built a new PC?
When was the last time I built a new PC? When I have friends like Jeff from Craft Computing?
Right. I mean, I built your last two.
Yeah.
So at no charge, mind you.
So all of a sudden we're getting pushed back to, 2018, something like that. I mean...
But again, like, when's the last time you built a new PC? This is all budget hardware. Like, this is like the bottom of brand new hardware. It's $1,000 to build a PC today.
Yeah.
So why is everyone bonking at the same hardware from Steam at $1,000? I don't understand it. This is what PCs cost if you buy a PC brand new.
And that being said, like, right, for $400 or whatever with the Steam Deck, okay, what would it look like if you built a comparable machine to the Steam Deck? And what's great about the Steam Deck is, it works. I'm willing to pay, I guess, that extra premium not to just have the hardware.
Right.
Because if you want to just have the hardware, you're right. Just get online, buy your PC.
I mean, this you can get hardware-wise for $250 to $300. In fact,
I mean, it should tell you everything about it. It costs less than my phone costs.
You could probably get equivalent hardware to this today. You can get like a 5600U, which is roughly equivalent to what's inside the Steam Deck, for like $199 to $250. If you want like desktop or mini PC level stuff. If you want way faster, if you want like a 7840U, which is almost double the speed of the Steam Deck, you can get that for $400. If you want 30 to 40% faster than that, you can get the HX370 APU, which is 8 core of Zen 4, and 16 compute units for of RDNA 3.5. Those are like $600.
Yeah. Yeah.
But $1,000 is not unreasonable. Like, come on, people.
I'm the target market for this, honestly.
Yeah.
Like the thing, like I said at the start of this, I'm a total convert to this way of thinking this line of product after the Steam Deck. I haven't played as much games in my entire life since getting the Steam Deck. So,
okay.
Jeff, you are in luck. It is the top of the hour. We're pretty close to wrapping this thing up. So if you got things you got to go do, we can read our super chats. I think people are well aware of the Gabe Cube news, as Green Pro Tag is calling it. So.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. I, for one, I'm really excited about it.
Absolutely.
I had no idea. You guys were like almost speaking in code last week because that was the first I heard about it. You guys were. I'm like, what are they talking about? What? I had to like Google it while I was watching the show last week to figure out this news. I didn't see it at all.
Vince and I were so excited about this. It is a super cool box. But 6 cores and RX 7600 XT performance. Yeah, it's $1,000. Probably be pretty close to that. If it comes in, I'd like to see this at like $800. I really would.
Same here.
When you run custom pieces, and you're the size of Valve, you can get some price breaks in there sometimes. So I would like to see this come in at closer to $800. I don't know that it will, but I also don't know why people are freaking out about like, man, if it's anywhere above $600, I'm out because I can build a PC for less than. No, you freaking can't.
But also,
no,
just like,
you can't. You can go find used parts.
If you think you can, then go do it. These people are just the big talkers that are always out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you think you can, go do it.
Yeah. You can go find used parts and build a PC that is better performance-wise. Sure. It's not this small. It's not new. Doesn't have a warranty. Good luck. And if that's the case, this is not for you, and that's fine. But don't call it a bad value because you think you can go do better. Number one, you can't. And number two, other people definitely can't, and maybe they just want to buy a PC that works.
And it's also just kind of fun, too, in its own way of having, like, a consumer PC that is kind of, like, putting some cracks into, like, the sort of, like, Windows kind of monopoly on gaming. You know what I mean? It's like, sure, it's a PC. You can go ahead and do whatever you want to do with it. But, like, it's one of the things that kind of excites me, too, about it is, like, well, I want to get away from Windows lately. You know what I mean? I don't need my every mouse click tracked. I don't need my screen captured every 5 minutes. I want to be able to play games and do the other things that I want to do.
Hold on. Praetorian says it's still weaker than a PS5. No, it's not. Which came out almost 5 years ago.
Yeah, but even if it was...
No, it's not.
Even if it was, I mean, my Steam Deck is weaker than a PS5, and I can still play Elden Ring on it. You know what I mean? It's like...
6 core of Zen 4 and a 7600 XT is not weaker than a PS5. It's not even weaker than a PS5 Pro. A PS5 is 8 core of low volt Zen 2 and 6700 XT-ish equivalent, but running at 140 watts, which means you're not getting full power, and you're certainly not getting full power out of your CPU. So unless you're breaking the laws of physics and running LN2 over there, no, it's freaking not. This is running hardware from the exact same vendor, and it's newer generation and more of it. What are you not understanding there? Sorry to lash out, but...
No, but it's those
don't
kinds
come in here
of
with
takes,
claims like that.
It's those kind of takes that we were talking about at the top of the story.
Yeah.
You can tack on some if you're not subsidizing it. And since it's a computer, what does that even mean? You can tack on some if you're not subsidizing it?
I think they're getting into the subsidizing conversation, which I was trying to touch on Like, look, if you have the Steam Deck, you're pushing people to the Valve Steam store to buy games. Like you're going to make sales. If you, this can be a loss leader. That can be it. If you're selling just a PC, there's no reason a vendor isn't going to go, or someone likes these for an office PC for a CAD workstation or a school environment or something like that and goes, gosh, we couldn't build PCs that cheap. Give us 10,000 of them. We'll never buy anything from Steam, though, because they're just PCs. You can't sell a desktop PC as a loss leader. It doesn't work. You're not going to drive people to the store like you think you will. And you can't take that risk.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they have to sell this for the value of the PC. And I think that's totally fair. This is not the same as a handheld. It's not the same market. You're not shopping the same audience. I don't know why I'm dropping so many frames all of a sudden in my video. It's just the video, though. But, oh, because the CPU is at 96%. Hold on, let me close the Chrome tab. Hey, 60. 30. The YouTube Studio Chrome tab was taking 70% of my CPU.
All these comments just blazing in, couldn't be contained.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And final super chat of the night was from Green Protect. Did we read that? I mentioned it, but $2 super chat. If Gabe Cube is $800 plus build 5600 plus RX 6600 plus Bayzite, then Gucci.
Yeah. Yeah, the PS5 Pro has roughly the same number of compute units as the RX 6700 XT. However, they are much lower clocked because it is an APU-based system. It is shared memory LPDDR5X, so it's a much slower bandwidth than a 6700 XT anyway. You're probably getting performance right around on par with an RX 6600. That's in the Pro model. And I know you're getting an 8-core Zen 2-based CPU. They also clock at like 2 to 2.8 gigahertz. It's not overly fast. You don't need a ton of compute for gaming. So a 6-core fully unlocked Zen 4 desktop SKU, hell, even a mobile Zen 4 SKU, that's a full, 60-watt unlock, plus a discrete 7600 XT, it's going to steamroll a PS5 in any variant. It's also going to be about $1,000, more than likely. And you know what? It's a good deal today. PC part pickers right there. Go type it in for yourself.
You heard it here, you heard it her, folks. You heard it.
I didn't even add the micro SD card reader.
Yeah,
that's another $10.
Oh, YouTube just crashed on me.
Haha, I preempted it.
What a pain in the butt. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with it. Keep your eyes on it.
Yeah.
Priartor does say he is really impressed. They are really impressed with how tiny the thing is, though.
Right.
Roughly GameCube sized, seems more like half that. Roughly 6 inches cubed, give or take. So.
Yep. Yeah, it's about 1 inch larger in every dimension than the GameCube, but that is still seriously impressive. Also, PS5 games are optimized for that specific APU. Yeah, you can do a lot if you simply turn down settings and optimize your game for the specific hardware that you have. I tell PC gamers that all the time. Stop trying to run everything at ultra settings, especially if you only have a 7600 or something similar. You know what? Run at medium and then crank your view settings if you've got the VRAM for it, because you'll get a way better experience than that ever so slightly crispier texture as it flies by at 80 miles an hour. It doesn't matter. It matters so much less than frame rate and immersion and a smooth gameplay.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. I can't wait until this launches. And this is the second most excited, or the thing I'm second most excited about from Valve. I'm a day one buyer of the frame. I don't care what price it comes out at.
Oh yeah. That'll be interesting.
I am a day one buyer of that. Take my money now. I want it. Want it, have to have it.
Follow Craft Computing to see those videos when they come out. And, hit that thumbs up, like, and subscribe if you haven't done so already.
Nope.
People want to hear Stargate chat, Jeff, but I think that would be best reserved for the super secret after show, which
yes,
viewers of Talking Heads here on Crafting Computing can join for $1 a month over on patreon.com/craftcomputing. Just that small subscription fee gets you into the Discord, where you could chat with all the great Talking Heads hosts, Jeff, me, your favorite one, Rett, and of course we got Tom Lawrence and Cheese himself. And, the super secret after show, it runs right after the super public show, the super very publicly visible Talking Heads show over on that Discord channel. So if you want to talk some Stargate chat, get on over there. Drop your $1 if you haven't done it. Join the Discord. Jeff will be lathering his body up in oil, preparing for the on-screen. Yeah, you heard. Sorry, Jeff.
We're on full After Dark tonight.
Yeah,
okay.
Full After Dark. Full After Dark. I mean, the camera will be waist up only, but to maintain. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I tried.
Patreon, Discord, all that jazz. Thanks again to Meter and to Verda for sponsoring today's episode. Much appreciated to them as well. Make sure to check out their links down in the video description. And as always, we appreciate their sponsorship. That's going to do it for us here on Talking Heads, episode 409. I got it right that time. Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news right here on YouTube. Subscribe, like, all that jazz. And as always, we'll see you next week.